Well, the results of my Ninja banner are impressive. I did manage to get every single character, though I did have to go a little bit further for Camilla. I did manage to pull at least one new unit outside of the ninjas, that being a Katrina or Katarina. So I managed to pull both two 4-star Heaths. One was plus res minus attack. The other one was plus attack minus defense. I also managed to finally get a good IV Dusel with a plus attack minus speed, so that's a merge. Sadly, the Katarina I got was plus defense minus speed. Some probably the worst IVs I could have gotten, because the only thing I can really think of that is not valuable at all to her. For the Micaiah, it really doesn't matter since I have a plus attack or plus res one, so that's a merge. I Another one that's just going to be turned into a book is the plus HP minus defense Shamir. For Church, she did was plus res minus defense. However, I figured that her stat line was way too good to just have as a plus res minus defense. So I immediately traded her to give her plus attack minus, at least minus speed. It was either plus attack or plus defense, and then I flowered the other stat. I sparked the duo, Legion, and then Camilla was a very lucky pull with plus res minus HP. So all in all, I have 6 total questions from the 5 stars, or 6 total points. And then the other one is going to be the 4-star focus or 4-star specials. So in this case, I think I'm going to count, for this case, I'm going to count the 5 stars as 5 stars and only count this one as a 2-pointer. So that's 7 points of a question in total. The first one is going to be, what are 4 units that you want to see as unconventional alts? I think I'll give the first one to a young staff Church, just only because she actually has that background story. She Before she met Minerva, she was training to be a cleric, and it actually shows in her kit because her every single kit thing outside of her flying unit is a staff unit, every single one of them. The other options I think are just giving some really weird thought processes. I'd like to see Lloyd as a pirate with a hook for a hand, maybe, or like a curved sword. I'll be very odd and say that Unit 3 would be a red sword Azura, but it's a serrated sword, and she gives off the kind of yandere vibes. And then number 4 probably would be maybe Camilla as like a high school student. Again, the only one that I really thought out was number 1, the staff wielding Camilla. I do kind of also want to see Crom being able to use magic, just because he was never technically able to use them in his game. Um, I think the other thing that I want to see is Ascended Lilina wielding Armats. Why? I don't know. Why? I want to see it, but I don't know why I want to see it. Um, the next one would be, if you were to heavily push for a crossover, what game would you choose and how would you implement these new units? So I actually did try doing a couple of Genshin collab banners. So you had one character from Genshin, and that character was going to be an Ascended Legendary or maybe Ascended Mythic. But basically, what it would be is that they come with both they come as a specific element, but it would be like just pair up. It wouldn't have any stat buffs, but they'd also have a free ascendable stat. They wouldn't come with a flower. And then the idea would be that you would include characters who would be like learning something from them. So maybe like uh, I originally started with Arataki Ito, and I did Keaton, Luke, and then I kind of lost any real ability to think outside the box because it was very hard to design characters for that. But that's at least a thought process. If I was going to also push for another crossover, I would push for the Persona 5 using the first 4 members of the Phantom Thieves of Hearts. So that's at least a thought for a crossover. Crossovers are very hard to do within Fae just because they haven't done any real crossovers, and so it's very hard to say what would I push for a crossover. Aside from those two, I have a hard time thinking outside the box. Then we're going to go into another ongoing question. So this is going to be another legendary which one, which will be either Quan or Eldigan. Both of these have the same number of alts. Quan, however, is a pullable one, whereas Eldigan is a free. I think if I was going to kind of extend it to a little bit more, currently Quan's family only has Leaf in it as a legendary, whereas Eldigan has Nana. Neither one. This one's kind of a very close tie, but if I was gonna say, oh, we do actually have Ares as well for units that are in the game. I'd say Eldigan because Eldigan's a little bit older. His second form is lesser than Quan. His sister is a Gen 1 healer who desperately needs a refine, whereas Ethelyn is a free cavalry healer, which makes her a lot better. You have Leaf versus Ares. Leaf has had many, many alts, whereas Ares is still stuck. And then the only kind of one that's a little bit unbalanced would be Altina versus Nana, and Nana wins that one hands down. But I think Eldigan takes this round for me. Then afterwards, we have Lewin or Sed, so father or son. This one's a very hard one to say because they both would wield the Forseti tome. You actually see Lewin wielding the Forseti tome. I'd say Sed because Sed doesn't have any alts, whereas Lewin has his own alt, and then the Festival of the 12 Scions alt. I do think that he did get a very good refund, whereas Sed is still waiting on his. Even though Sed is a little bit newer, he also comes with the special spiral, whereas Sed comes with pulse smoke. So I think in this case, to recap, I'd choose Eldigan over Quan and Sed over Lewin. Besides, for me, Lewin could easily be like a mythic because he's dead in the second gen, but possessed by Forseti. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you like what I make, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much and have a nice night.